First, more on our incredible national self-harm on energy, and I'll show you just how the experts seem to care so little about what their renewables projects and transmission towers do to your backyard. In a few days, the energy market operator will hand down its regular update on the medium-term outlook. We'll have a look, will we have enough power? It'll examine whether that power will be reliable and whether it'll be affordable. And let me tell you, they'll spin like a wind turbine themselves, but the answer will be no, no and no. It'll confirm that this summer, on hot days with high demand, we might face blackouts. And if not, they'll come the next summer or the one after that. We don't call the Federal Climate and Energy Minister Blackout Bowen for nothing. We've deliberately done this to ourselves. We've turned an energy-rich nation into an energy-poor one because we think cutting emissions is more important than having energy. Even though our emissions are only 1% or less of worldwide emissions, which are still growing, by the way, the global emissions, so actually doing this for zero impact on the climate. There is nothing our country can do that will discernibly alter the climate ever. That's just the scientific reality. Yet news today that Victorian taxpayers will now pay AGL an undisclosed amount of money to keep their coal-fired generation going at Loy Yang in the Latrobe Valley until 2035. Yet dispatchable power has been so marginalised so quickly, forced out of action before there's enough power to replace it, so now taxpayers will subsidise coal-fired electricity to ensure the lights don't go out in Victoria, at least for another 12 years. Nothing could demonstrate our madness more clearly. Subsidies paid to boost clean green energy, that these subsidies have made it necessary to pay subsidies for dirty power as well. The reason we're heading for strife is obvious. We're closing down the reliable coal and gas generation and replacing it with unreliable renewables. Yet despite wind farms and solar farms everywhere and many more of these projects planned, we're still not building anywhere near enough to replace what we've been closing down. And all those billions and billions of dollars spent for more ugly transmission lines and still more to come, none of this is enough. It never will be, of course. We will not meet our targets. But our leaders don't want to tell us that truth because that means we'll need coal and gas to stay. In fact, we'll need much more gas. And ultimately, we of course need nuclear. But our leaders are in denial. Listen to the head of the Clean Energy Finance Corporation talking about how all these renewables and all the transmission lines will permanently scar our landscapes.
Well, it will have to change to if we're going to get to 82% renewables by 2030, we're going to need the right infrastructure to capture that energy, and therefore there will be an impact. But I think
who's having that honest conversation with us Australians about how radically different particularly the East Coast landscape will look?
Well, I think it's it's a conversation that the whole country has to have.
Yeah, a conversation the whole country has to have about how our landscapes are being destroyed. Well, call me old-fashioned, but I reckon the time to have had the conversation might have been before you committed this nation to this madness. At the moment, sensible people are complaining about what's happening on their farms or on their coastlines or in their bushland environments, but soon enough, even the greenies who push the climate alarmism will end up joining the fight against some of these projects. It's just all so crazy, so costly, so damaging and so unnecessary. We needed to switch from primary reliance on fossil fuels to primary reliance on nuclear. It's that simple. Finland's done that. France has done that. Ontario in Canada has done that. It will be our path, mark my words, because it's the only way you can get to anywhere close to net zero and still have reliable power that we can afford. It's just that every year we waste increases the damage in the meantime.